Hello guys, and welcome to my first tutorial. Today I'm going to explain how to make an automatic spline placement and have your static mesh or actor be placed at the spline point in Unreal Engine. So the first thing you want to do is create a blueprint of the actor class and name this to whatever name you want. I chose to name it BP_SplineLiner. So inside the actor you want to create two float variables. We will use this later. You also want to create two spline components inside your actor. Make sure you put your main spline as the root of your placement spline. I'm sorry if this video is boring. I'm still figuring out how to make them more interesting. Be sure to comment on how to improve. Yeah, so when you have your two variables, be sure to name them. I named them length between spline and spline length, but it doesn't matter what you name these. Then you want to make sure you're in the construction script, so you can see your placement spline, add spline points in the editor. First, we will get all the spline points of the main spline and loop between them. Oh yeah, and be sure to set the spline length here, because if you set it in the event graph, the script doesn't work. Here I made a spelling mistake. I'm sorry, English isn't my first language. You're also going to need to clear the spline points of your placement spline, as not doing this will affect performance very heavily. Then you make the for loop using the spline length and the distance between spline. You need to set this variable pretty high, as this will determine how much space is between points. I will demonstrate this later in the video. You divide the spline length with the distance between splines as to get the amount of spline points you want on the placement spline. I sent it to 300, but you can make it so you can edit this in the editor. So you want to multiply your number with the length between splines to determine the distance between your main spline and placement spline points, and set the distance between the points. And then you're going to want to add the spline points to the placement spline. At the location value, you get by the distance. Make sure you set it to world, because else it will just spawn at 0.0.0. Then we will make one more loop, so you can add stuff to your placement spline points. I feel like this is fairly simple. Yeah, just get the location at the spline point and make your custom actor or static mesh spawn at the location. Oh, and make sure to split the transform and set it to only location. You can also change the rotation or scale if you want, but it's not needed for this tutorial. And then we are finished making this automatic spline placer. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.